Hi, I hope you're as excited as me to take a look at the word als, plus all its challenges that come with this word in Dutch. Als can be sometimes confusing, so that's why we're going to take a look at it. How do you translate als in English? Well, there are three main ways. Als can be translated as if, as, or when. And each one of them, you have to know a few things to be able to use it correctly. Let's start with if. Let's take an example with if. Ik ga Nederlands leren als jij mijn cursus betaalt. I'm going to learn Dutch if you pay for my course. That's a good sentence. If you have to ask for money or something, just use this sentence. But als here is if, as in a condition. If da-da-da, then da-da-da. Or I'm going to do this if da-da-da, as in this sentence. So that's the condition. Easy, right? It's kind of similar to English. Well, you bet. It gets complicated. You can use indien as well. That's a little bit old-fashioned, but it's also a synonym in this case. So as in if, and if you can translate if as whether, then something special is going to happen. For example, ik ga kijken of het eten klaar is. I'm going to take a look to see if the food is ready. And in English you use if, but in Dutch you use of. Yeah, that's right. It's not a mistake on the board. No, we're going to use of if we can translate the word by whether, right? For indirect questions or, just simply for words like, for sentences like these. I'm going to take a look if or whether the food is ready. So then we're going to use of. Another example, typically, ik weet niet of dat correct is. I don't know if that's correct. Or I don't know whether that's correct. And there we're also going to use of, because you can translate it as whether. All right. The two next translations will be a little bit easier than this one, because it's one of these false friends. You think if, of, wait, what? Of means if? No, of means or. I have to use als. And then, it messes a bit with your brain. Of also means or, and it's also used for translating whether. Weather as in not the weather, it's sunny, but I'm sure you got that. All right, so the second translation is as. But as has many uses in English, but it does not have the literal one-on-one translation with als. When do we use als? Well, first of all, in the way in the capacity of, for example here, als advocaat moet ik jou nee zeggen. As a lawyer, I have to tell you no. And if the lawyer tells you no, you better, it means no. So listen to your lawyer if you have one. So in the capacity of a lawyer, I'm saying this as a lawyer, I have to tell you no. And there, if it's in the capacity of, then you're going to use als. Or I worked as a taxi driver a few years ago. And then you're going to use also als. All right. And the next one is when you're comparing and the quantities are the same. For example, heb je evenveel water als ik? Do you have as much water as myself? And then you're also going to use als to translate as. But not, for example, as I was walking, I saw something. And there you don't you don't use als. So remember, als only in the capacity of and comparative. So the same amount or the same. All right. And number 3 is when. And then you're like, well, als, using als as when? Sounds strange. Isn't there another word for when? Correct. It is wanneer. And wanneer is, well, the literal translation of when, but also can mean when. So it's a little bit complicated, except if you're asking questions. You can't ask a question like when are you going to come? Then you're not going to use als. You're going to use wanneer. But in the other cases, you can use als. For example, ik begin als ik wil. Or ik begin wanneer ik wil. Kinda, well, they both mean the same. I start when I want. And, well, if you're using als, it can also mean I start if I want to start. So there you have to feel a little bit the context. All right, so let's summarize a little. Als can be translated as if, as, and when. And if it's if, and you can translate it as whether, then you're not going to use als, you're going to use of. Number 2, als as in as, we only use in the capacity of and for the comparative, if the amounts are the same, or if it's the same as. All right. And number 3, you can also translate it as when. So instead of wanneer, you would use als. All right, I hope this helped a lot. This question was asked by Carmine or something else. Sorry for the pronunciation, Car. So if you have another question or if there's anything about Dutch you would like to ask me, feel free to write it in the comments. And who knows, there might be a video coming your way to explain that little issue you have with Dutch. All right, tot ziens.